Hey, good morning. Let's go over today's trade plan. So in the overnight session, we saw that responsive buyers were active on the test of the 0475 to 0675 support zone from yesterday. And at this point, heading into the open, the buyers continue to be dominant and in control. On the downside, we have support at 2106 to 09, and that's really going to be the key area that buyers have to hold in order to maintain control. So the 06 to 09 area can also be viewed as the short-term bull-bear zone, where as long as buyers are holding ES above it, they can maintain control. And if we break below 2106, then that could mark at least a shift in the short-term control from the buyers to the sellers, and that can lead to a move down into the 97.75 to 2100 zone, and potentially the 93.5 to 95.5 area, at which point we can start to see responsive buyers jump back into the market. So in the event of a breakdown below 06, we have to be a little bit more cautious at the 97.75 to 2100, but the 93.5 to 95.5 and the 91.5 area are good spots for responsive buyers to be active on first test, and those can still be taken as long setups looking for a move back up into 2100 and beyond. On the upside, as long as ES is holding 06 to 09, we know that buyers can maintain control, and continuing to balance above the 2109, above the 2110 quarter previous close can still result in a breakout above the 2116 to 18 initial resistance. Now the 16 to 18 marks the all-time high, and in order to get a sustained breakout above 18, we are going to have to see broad market strength and sustained upside momentum. So the NYSE tick holding above zero, the advanced decline line trending higher and in positive territory, and ideally participation from NASDAQ as well. That was something we were looking at yesterday morning. Watching NQ kind of helped us figure out the bias on the day time frame, and that idea continues to be valid today. So NASDAQ has been relatively weak on the smaller time frames compared to the S&P and the Russell, and we can see that the weakness in NQ resulted in a pullback in ES yesterday. So keep an eye on NQ and see if we can get some upside movement in that market, because that's certainly going to help the S&P go higher as well. And if we are seeing a failure and a downside move in NASDAQ, then it's going to make it very difficult for ES to maintain its own gains, and that can result in a pullback and possibly even a break of 06 to 09. So heading into the open, our bias is really going to be determined on how the market responds to the 10 quarter previous close and the 2106 to 2109 area. As long as that area is holding, we know that this breakout is still intact and the buyers can still maintain control. If that area fails, then at least short term, we can get a downside move into the support zones below. So that's really going to help set the tone and the bias for the day. And then we're just going to look for the underlying conditions that support an upside breakout. So if we're not seeing, for example, decent upside momentum, or if the other markets are struggling and the advanced decline is either at a very mediocre level right around zero or in negative territory, then it's going to be very difficult to get a sustained move beyond 16 to 18. So we do have to see some pretty decent strength, and the advanced decline trending higher, Russell ideally breaking out, going higher, and NASDAQ putting in a catch-up move in order to get any break, or at least a sustained break, beyond the 16 to 18 area. And until we actually get a break to the upside, this is technically a sideways balance that's developing now. It's just that it's a balance that's happening within a overall bullish context, and that's why we're going to continue to favor the long side until we see some pretty decent signs telling us that sellers are actually taking over on the smaller time frames. On the econ front, we do have the oil number out at 9:30 a.m. Central Time, and it could cause short-term volatility. So just be mindful of that. If you're heading into the 9:30 report, then you want to make sure that you're either in from a very good price where you can basically survive some short-term volatility, or if you're not, then probably a good idea to be flat just to manage your risk a little bit better heading into the 9:30 number. So those are the main ideas heading into the open. Let's see if the buy side can maintain short-term control today, and we'll take it from there.